Hi, my name is Michael Collins. I'm the Vice President of Admissions for Unitek Learning. We are an accredited college. We're a career vocational college that primarily trains students in nursing and healthcare. We have 3 different brands across multiple states. We've got 19 total campuses, and we've got campuses in California, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Idaho, and Reno. So the implementation process with LeadSquared was a lot of work, but it was actually pretty simple because they basically looked at our existing workflow. And because of the way that LeadSquared works, especially with its automations, it's a really seamless process as long as you already have your current processes either documented or housed in some previously used contact manager. The support team with LeadSquared, I have to say, having worked with a number of large CRMs, was the best that I'd experienced. They had, specific people that were assigned to us that stayed with us not only through the initial implementation and the go live, but throughout the preceding months, which was actually tremendously valuable and really smoothed out and made it much shorter than it normally is. Typically, it's usually a 6-month process to optimize a new CRM or any kind of platform that you're using. But with LeadSquared's team, that part was one of the high points and one of the reasons we've been so happy. As I mentioned, we have 3 different brands, and when we're a growing set of colleges, we have 19 individual branches and teams. All 3 of those brands have different states that have different regulatory bodies, and all 3 of the brands have different initiatives. So one of the main things that LeadSquared solved for us and why we needed to move to a platform that had a lot of capabilities like they did is not only the automations, which allow us to basically have for each brand the same process but different branding, or in other cases a different initiative. And at any point we have different texting initiatives, email, automations for communication, and LeadSquared's automation make it so that we can, at a really granular level, say, when this happens, trigger this text, and then wait, this long until the person has moved to this stage, and then, based on this specific template, trigger this specific brand. So that type of if, then, and conditions, LeadSquared is really powerful and able to do. The other area that has been a big benefit for us is the amount of integration and the integration strength. So their API, we have a system of record. It would be similar to a QuickBooks, but it's a system that needs to be auditable, and it's our system of record. And the integration with that has been a real strength. And that previously, prior to going to LeadSquared, was a real pain point for us, because when that integration broke, or if there were updates, it threw off productivity for as long as that was going on. The benefit of it with LeadSquared is that the API, we can actually control the database if we need to. We can make updates to it. And of course, on their end, their team has always been very responsive. We're talking, within, minutes or an hour, that if anything were to go wrong, they're able to address. However, since going live with LeadSquared, we've not had any break in our integration with that system from the time that we've gone live, which has just been a huge relief for us and eliminated a big pain point. So when, as most companies during the pandemic needed to move a lot of their operations remotely, we previously had a number of manual practices that LeadSquared was able to eliminate, primarily with an integration that they accomplished with our underlying telephony, which allowed for a dialer-based lead handling. So we previously had a lot of manual processes for taking in new leads and assigning them, manual processes for entering new leads into the system that were captured through inbound calls. Over the recent project that we completed with LeadSquared, the integration that they put together with the dialer has made it so that essentially all of our teams are able to have an optimized method for assigning leads, moving leads to different users within LeadSquared. It's tied to the dialer, but the LeadSquared automations are what has allowed that to happen. That has saved us not only in additional staffing, it's also made the current staff that we do have in place much more efficient. They're no longer having to handle time-sensitive manual lead assignment, and our managers are no longer having to consistently check the system to make sure that leads are with the right people. So there's a number of features, but one of the features that has been really beneficial with LeadSquared compared to some of our previous platforms that we've been using is there's an ability to structure everything. So within an activity, we can use forms that basically make it where we can dictate anything that we want as far as what our users are doing, and then trigger from there any number of different either automated text messages, emails. We can also move to having one or two users be basically leads being redistributed to a different user depending on that activity. So there's really nothing that we can't customize. So I typically get on a monthly basis 3 to 4 different initiatives from either marketing or another department that needs to include internal messaging. And in less than a week, we can typically make whatever adjustment that we need to make. And that's through those forms that allow us to customize an activity that our users are seeing and then trigger any number of activities after that based on what they've chosen. Another area that our users typically take advantage of, as well as marketing, is the really powerful LeadSquared email building template. So you can build, even a user without a lot of experience or HTML ability is able to build an email template that looks really clean, professional. We just have an internal branding template there, and our users are able to build their own templates, and then from there send out and use the email campaign module within LeadSquared that has been really very effective for us. And of course, the texting platform is the same. We're able to automate any number of mass text campaigns, which we're using on a very frequent basis with our entire team base. In our industry, speed to lead is a critical component and a key metric for us that we're always looking at. It determines not only whether or not we're going to be able to ever speak to the lead, it typically influences the overall sales rate or lead to enrollment. For us, speed to lead prior to going to LeadSquared with their telephony integration, our speed to lead was typically in a good month or a good quarter, it was going to average around 12 minutes to 18 minutes. Since moving to LeadSquared and using their underlying dialer, we are now looking at worst about 5 minutes, and the median is now 2.7 minutes, which has been an immediate factor for us as far as our contact rate, but also it's proven to increase our overall conversion rate. Another metric that LeadSquared specifically helped us to improve was our overall response rate to email and text. And that's been because we're able to so much more effectively pinpoint when we're going to send a text or when we're going to send an email. And then when someone responds, the chat messaging or an alert can be configured within LeadSquared so that we know when that person opened that email. Not only our marketing team having more visibility because of that, but also our admissions representatives are able to quickly know when a student is looking. We are really, for us, outreach to our students is a really important component because our students we have a lot of different programs, we have a lot of different questions that come up. And for a contact manager, we really need something that can be very responsive and also be catered to what our students are asking across, of course, multiple brands. So we always have to have branded templates that are doing different things. But as we've continued to grow, as we've had more initiatives that require a lot of different information going to the correct student, LeadSquared's ability to provide timely email templates based specifically on that student, based specifically on the program that they're looking at, and also what happened with them during their admissions meeting with the campus has been a very powerful tool for us that has made the experience that a new student is having with us seem like it's catered very specifically to them. And we're able also to meet their needs because of the reporting that LeadSquared has the capability of doing with all of the activities that we've configured. As an educational institution, it's really important that we take care of our students, not only from the time that they've enrolled with us, and make sure that they are really fully informed throughout the enrollment process. This is a big decision for them. So with LeadSquared's ability to cater the messaging and cater the responsiveness to our different brands and to our different types of students, that's been a really important part of our partnership with LeadSquared. As we continue to grow and we have new brands, we may have new locations, and we may have different students that need very different messaging or responses to questions that they may have, either through text or through email or over the phone. All of the templates that we send out with instruction, with especially if they're time-sensitive instruction for things like entrance testing, LeadSquared's ability to cater things to have one process that is able to be different by brand for multiple brands, and to be able to make sure that all of these different automations are going on. That's really helped us to continue to grow. And with LeadSquared's scalability, we will continue to grow the business using LeadSquared, because we're I think utilizing maybe 75% of what it is capable of doing. And as we continue to grow, we'll continue to utilize more.